industry giants, that means you are a leader in the corporate field. So, Madam Secretary General, that is my first task. It is 8:23, maybe until 8:30. Let us hear from members. What are some of the factors that are prohibiting people from achieving the kind of financial freedom or financial success that they would desire to have?
Okay. Thank you so much again, our trainer, Mwali Mwali. And actually, just like a summary, the people that are on this platform are professionals mostly and entrepreneurs. We have HR professionals, we have NGO personnel, we have media personnel, we have psychologists, we have people in the HR sector I mentioned, um, among others. So these are people, and also we are dynamic in ages.
Mm-hmm.
We are not like 20 to this only, but we are dynamic. I think from 20, from the what I know, because this is a small group. I know most of our members, so we are at least 25, or let's say 30 right now, to around 50, 55 cup. Let me just put it that way. Yeah.
Great.
So
Thank
I
you.
think, yes, I think this is now the much that you should know with the audience at hand. And in the
Mm-hmm.
interest of time, I will not focus on that more. So I have seen people are throwing in their comments rather, and I would like people to maybe just carry your hand, and then we can give you permission to speak out. And we say there is no right or wrong answer, but all of us are at par. Thank you.
Thank you, SG. So let's make it informal. Let us just share. It doesn't have to be specific to you, but what do you believe are some of the reasons why, you know, uh, we are not achieving the financial freedom or the financial objectives that we have? All right. In the interest of time, I am in the habit of cherry picking and name dropping. So I see Mr. Chelsea on the call. Maybe you can share with us what are some of the reasons why people, whether you're a professional, a business owner, a student, a housewife, a husband, what are some of the reasons why we are not achieving our financial goals? Or are we achieving our financial goals?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, this is Susan using Charles' phone.
Oh, karibu sana, Susan. It is well.
Yeah, thank you. I think one of the reasons as to why people are not achieving their financial goals is, from my perspective, lack of knowledge on where, like, which lack of knowledge or fear of investing their money, that lack of assurance of where can I invest my money? Is it safe? You know, so sometimes people just have money, but you don't know where is safe to invest. So you end up not, investing and getting profits that can give that financial freedom. Thank you.
Wow, thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Susan. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Lack of knowledge and fear of investing the little money we have. Great. Pam, what do you have for us?
Good evening and thank you very much. One thing I think it's affecting us in terms of lack of that way of achieving our financial freedom is external circumstances like unexpected life emergencies, like you suddenly have someone, you have saved some little money and you suddenly have someone who falls sick in a family and it drains you. Another thing I think is having a lot of debt and you don't know how to plan how to repay the debts. So you are constantly in debt and you don't know how to come out of that. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much, Pam. I guess I've heard it is referred to as black tax, where if you are among the people in your family who have been economically successful, you shoulder then the burden of the rest of the family. And definitely, yes, as the government says, many of the citizens of this country are already in the CRB, so it is difficult even to access capital. Thank you, Pam. I see we are doing well. Mr. Eric, what do you have for us? Eric, are you there? As Eric plans himself, Ephraim. Ephraim or George? All right. Nation, are you there? Great. Anyone else? Maybe we can have one more last sharing before we can move
Yes,
to the
I'm
next.
there. Network.
Oh, network issue. Karibu, karibu.
Network. Asante.
Okay, thank you. I think he has a network issue. And so today I'd like us to look at, first of all, as I was preparing for this session, one of the things that I've come to learn, or rather been taught by my mentor, is that before you actually create room to learn new information about anything, and in this context, finances, money, and wealth. Oh, Ephraim also has. Okay, great. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. I see a couple of people have challenged with their network. So the first thing is, before we even get into a space of trying to onboard new information about wealth creation or financial freedom or just matters money, first thing is we need to first get rid of wrong financial or money programming that we have accumulated through the years. We have to get rid of the money programming. Now, this is rather a challenge to many people, and I do studies around the black race and the Africans to understand why majority African countries and black people are in the bottom of the global financial inclinations. Just today, I came across the new updates of Forbes top black people on earth, the billionaires. Of course, Aliko Dangote is still number one. I've seen a few names have come on board, a few names have left. But still, we are right there at the bottom. And there are different theories or philosophies that can be shared to why this is the situation, and we can bring it back. Fear of being bewitched. They do not want people to know. Very, very true. I like that authentic and vulnerable sharing. If I am to dissect Kenya, you can see that in most parts of Kenya, let me use a barometer of Mulembe Nation, you'll find that economically we still are lagging behind. And part of the reasons, as have been shared before, is one of the reasons definitely is a lack of knowledge. There is the macro factors where you have also probably lack of good leadership in that space. You could look at another macro issue such as economic. I also want to be Dangote. Let me learn more. Great. So there's maybe lack of in my business class, I came across the acronym PESTLE. I don't know, maybe in your business class what that meant, but these are the macro factors that affect a business or an economic system. And so that will be PESTEL, just is an acronym of the political, the economical, the social cultural, the technological, the legal, and the environmental. So that is, I've just summarized, probably lost one, but it's the political, the economical, the social cultural, the legal, the environmental, and then you have the education or the academic macro factors. So in any business or any any financial system or person, you will be affected by these things wherever you work. And any investor coming into a new environment will use these parameters to see if that space is investor ready or not. So they look at the political situation, great. The economic situation, the social cultural, the technological, then you have the legal, and then you have the educational, and then you have the environmental. So those are the parameters that any investor will look at. For the case of Western Kenya, I have a cousin who happens to have been a banker a while back. And he said most banks don't want to go to Western Kenya because the capacity to repay credit facilities is wanting as compared to spaces, say, as Mount Kenya or Nairobi. Did you hear that? That it is difficult to open a bank in Western Kenya because the default rate is higher than other spaces in Kenya. So that is just a framework that I want us to start with. That what are some of the factors that hinder people from having financial freedom or money freedom? So those are at a micro level. At a macro level. But at a micro level, then we have what I will focus, I will drill in is the social cultural. Now, if you allow me to wear my spiritual hat, my spiritual hat then will go into what we call strongholds. You know, these are narratives that a group of people or a society or a geographical location have held as truth for long periods of life to an extent that it is an accepted norm, right? And so in this case, as someone has just shared here, that it is difficult to invest, say, for example, in some spaces because of fear of being bewitched. But also, we need to ask ourselves at individual levels, what do we individually believe about money? Yeah. So you have people talking about too much money, especially if you have a religious inclination, is probably a testament that you are not very godly, right? That you are not very godly, or the devil is using you, or you are in Illuminati, or you are not spiritual or holy, right? And number two, there is, I saw someone sharing earlier, the scarcity mentality, where you do just enough to get by. And so the capacity of people dreaming big is nearly frowned on as either being arrogant or prideful. And so as I was juggling these and also doing my studies, I see this space of money mindset, what you individually believe as money will dictate your approach to money. And so before we move to day 2 and day 3, where we'll be now breaking down this whole entire space to how we can get money, Madam SG, I'll share some notes possibly by tomorrow morning about the money mindset so that each one of us here by 6 months or 12 months down the calendar, we should be able, that we'll do in day 2 and day 3, we should be able to analyze and analytically look back and say, have we made progress in this space of money, or are we still lagging behind, and how should we navigate that space? So the money mindset is about how do we create the right money mindset before we can even talk about I'm starting a business or I'm investing in shares. given if you invest in a space that's already winning, you throw your money to Safaricom or you put money in the stock exchange, whether in the country or outside, given you could get the money working for you. But I believe then you don't have a lot of control over that space. Because again, as I've said about the macro factors, say for example, you've invested somewhere and the tariffs that Donald Trump is throwing up and down hits that space. You see, you don't have too much leverage. But if you have the right money mindset, you should be able to control your outcomes and even fall down flat into debt and still rise back up if you have the right money mindset. Let me just use maybe another 3 minutes to share about my personal journey. So I grew up in Western Kenya and I was not exposed to commercial activities for the first 20 years of my life. That means right through primary school to high school, I was not overly exposed to commercial activity. I grew up in a place called Zoya, where if you threw your eyes 360, all you saw was sugarcane, and the only market that you accessed was maybe a place where they sold, just your normal groceries, nothing major. The few shops that were there, even in our own home, was owned by, I predominantly believe, majority of the people who own those shops were not locals. That means they came from other regions, predominantly central Kenya or Mount Kenya. And so by the time I started understanding what money was, I had made enough financial colossal mistakes that left me in debt, just sheer debt. And the funny thing is, as this is happening, you have held good jobs, jobs that probably were paying you at a very young age excess of quarter a million shillings per month. But 10 years later, you have possibly nothing to show that you have had a space of a decade where you've been able to maybe earn way over an average professional in terms of maybe a doctor, even lawyers, even politicians, people who predominantly had backgrounds of esteemed roles, engineers. You earned way more than these people. But because my money mindset was not right, I did not have anything to show for it. And as Robert Kiyosaki, if you've interacted with any of his material, says,